Hi, this is Mark Struthers. We've talked about the staffing shortage for both radiologists and technologists. What type of staff do we need to complete our facilities team, and how do we recruit them? Radiologic technologists, multimodality technologists, or imaging specialists? With the current shortage, we need to hire all three. An article published in Radiology, January of 2023, gave us a report for the period of 2009 through 2018 with the statistics demonstrating the increase of the number of exams performed in the United States during that time period. The smallest increase was in conventional radiology procedures, with only an increment of 275 million during that time period, whereas different modalities like CT, dental, nuclear medicine, and interventional radiologic procedures went up dramatically. Staffing for radiologic technologists has not grown to meet this demand. In addition to staffing not growing to meet the demand, we also have a dramatic change in the technology, both in modalities and computerization. The use of artificial intelligence, cloud-based solutions, and mobile technology has revolutionized making it more accessible, efficient, and cost-effective. But we still have staff shortages. To address these shortages, we've attempted hiring. Hiring medical staff for a particular healthcare facility can be a challenging task, and each healthcare facility is unique in its needs. The new hires need to reflect the mission of the facility and at the same time be able to satisfy the demands from the patient and referring physician community. So we need to review the provider's experience and skill set, check their licenses and national certification status, collect a copy of their transcript or degree, process their background checks, check them for drug screening, and review the references. The types of technologists that would be in the mix for our hiring would be the radiologic technologist, the multimodality certified technologist, and the technologist who is a specialist, such as nuclear medicine and ultrasound. An X-ray technologist and a multimodality specialist are both radiologic technologists who perform diagnostic imaging exams on patients, but they use different types of equipment to do so. Both the radiologic technologists and the multimodality technologists need to have empathy and communication skills and practice safety with the imaging equipment that they utilize. They need an in-depth knowledge of both the imaging equipment and the ancillary equipment that goes along with the equipment. They also have to have a good background or knowledge of anatomy. For the radiologic technologist, basic anatomy. For the multimodality specialist, possibly 2D, 3D, or 4D, as demonstrated through cross-sectional anatomy. And both have to have good science and math backgrounds. The American Registry of Radiologic Technologists has both a primary pathway and a post-primary pathway for technologists to get certification. An X-ray technologist operates X-ray machines to produce images of the inside of the body using ionizing radiation. They are responsible for prepping the patient, doing the exam, ensuring the patient is protected from unnecessary radiation exposure, and operating and maintaining the X-ray equipment and reviewing the images for accuracy. Here we can see the scope of the practice of a radiologic technologist, which ranges from maintaining the equipment to working as a member of the medical imaging team. The ARRT also has post-primary certifications. Generally speaking, after acquiring the radiologic technologist certification, the tech will be able to upgrade their credentials by having specialty certifications in different imaging modalities. This would put them in the category of a multimodality technologist. Post-primary certification can also be utilized by technologists who have a background in nuclear medicine and ultrasound to get a multimodality rating. In addition to the radiologic technologists and the multimodality technologists, we also have technologists that have specialized certifications, such as in ultrasound and nuclear medicine. They too can take post-primary courses to be certified as multimodality techs. This is becoming more common when we're getting hybrid modalities such as PET-CT, and they need to operate in more than one domain. A multimodality imaging technologist is a healthcare professional who operates across various imaging modalities such as radiology, computed tomography, ultrasound, MRI, and more. The multimodality technologist can be defined as an individual who is certified or competent in more than one imaging modality and therefore requires a higher salary. The combination of radiologic technologists, multimodality technologists, and specialist technologists is based upon the needs of the facility. If you're interested in becoming a multimodality technologist, you must consider how much education you need. Based on real multimodality technologist resumes, 21.2% of the multimodality technologists have a bachelor's degree. In addition, in that group, about 1.6 have higher education levels such as master's or doctorate degrees. Each facility has needs of one or more of these different types of technologists: the radiologic technologists, the multimodality technologists, and the specialist technologists such as ultrasound or nuclear medicine. In hiring, you have to look at the need of each type of technologist to meet your patient load and future demands. When it comes to staffing a radiology or medical imaging department, there are two options. The first would be to cross-train current employees, and the second would be to hire new talent. Each option has its pros and cons. Ultimately, the decision between cross-training current employees or hiring new talent depends on the specific needs and circumstances of the medical imaging department. It is important to carefully weigh the pros and cons of each option before making a decision on how to staff your department. One of the things you have to consider is the amount of time to train a multimodality tech. If you're going to do it in-house, is it going to take less than 1 month or up to 2 to 4 years? And who's going to be doing their primary job while they're training in the new modality? One of the dilemmas in cross-training is that the person cross-trained or trainee will have almost no experience as a specialist in that particular field. When cross-training an employee, you must be assured that they can get the skills that you need. Remember, the trainee cannot learn more than their mentor, who may or may not be able to teach the skill and may or may not have the background knowledge to teach the skill. A specialist is an expert in a certain field of study, occupation, or practice. These individuals focus on a certain area or topic and build up an understanding in a specific niche. That does not mean that they are able to mentor. Some people think it'd be great to have everybody multimodality trained. That's really not true. Remember, if you don't use it, you lose it, and that includes the skills and talent that you train for in each modality. If the primary function of the facility is to provide medical imaging X-ray, then you need radiologic technologists, not multimodality technologists, or just a few multimodality technologists to help the specialist in the other areas when needed. This means the multimodality technologist must be willing to work in all of the technologies that they are certified in. If a radiologic technologist who is a primary path technologist gets an advanced certification and only wants to work in that certification, you might as well hire a specialist who works in that certification already. The advantages of having a multimodality technologist is that cross-training current employees can be effective in increasing the number of specialized radiologic technologists in the department. Some of the benefits of cross-training include increased employee morale, as they are rewarded for their exemplary work, and the fact that employees already know the environment, the computer system, the staffing, the doctors, etc. Cross-training also promotes employee engagement and leadership, and management is seen as willing to invest in a staff which, in return, breeds loyalty. By virtue of cross-training the technologists, you save money in the sense that an experienced specialist with multimodality experience will cost you more than cross-training your own employee. However, there are also some negatives associated with cross-training current employees. It can create a gap in the modality where the trainee is coming from. Who's going to cover their job while they're working on the new piece of equipment? In addition, no matter what, it's going to cost you to cross-train that employee, and the cost is going to be dependent upon the amount of time, which is based upon the equipment and the aptitude of the employee. A shortage of radiologic technologists also may cause delays in staffing different departments such as surgery and the emergency room when they are desperately needed. Additionally, the new trained employee could leave for greener grass upon completion of cross-training, and this does happen. From experience, I can tell you, you cannot put them under contract to get the training for them to stay at your facility. So what do? There's a dilemma here. What if you just needed the staff for a short period of time? Well, there is a solution there. There are staffing agencies which have qualified medical imaging technologists available. Outside of the additional cost, the one big downside to having a medical agency staffing technologist work at your facility is integrating them into your work routine and into the team itself. Agency techs are a good short-term solution, but really are not good for the long term. An agency tech moves on once the need has been met for the agency tech to relieve the current staff. So agency techs are not a long-term solution to your staffing problem. So how do we end the staff shortage in radiologic technology and other medical imaging modalities, and radiologists as well? We begin with national certification and standardization and licensure. That way, a minimum scope of practice and skill set will be available uniformly across the United States. We also need to analyze our current training system and look at both the curricula, both didactic and clinical, and upgrade this to meet today's standards. And finally, we need improved marketing and recruiting of technologists for hire. If they don't know the job exists, they're not going to come.